pulling, it won't open, it's no good, and I'm wide awake now. I can't get no sleep.
The Blades Ramble are proudly supported by our main channel sponsor, My Business Group, a group of brands designed to support owners, leaders and managers in business. We would not be where we are without the incredible support of John and the team. If you're looking to grow your business, contact mybusinessgroup.co.uk today for more information, or follow the link in the description below.
Blades fans, subscribe to Blades Ramble. Up the Blades.
To the Blades Ramble. I am, of course, Jimmy, and this is your countdown to Kickoff. It is the day after Tuesday. We don't say that day of the week. And the big Kickoff, the Steel City Derby, is this Sunday. Oh, my word. So, just to tell you a little bit about the journey of my mood, we started off with the Bamford thing, which I wasn't overly happy about initially. Then did a stream about it, spoke to a few of you guys that were able to pick me up, and I appreciate that. And again, it goes two ways, this. I'm a fan with an opinion, and I get up and down like the rest of us, and it's nice to be able to have that alternative opinions to try and sort of forge my own way in how I'm going to think about it. I now believe that the Bamford signing, per se, is a bit of a no-lose situation for Sheffield United. If it doesn't work, what have we lost, really? So I'm now a lot more positive in my mindset around that signing in particular. I've also, we've been doing a lot of content on both the Blades Ramble and Ramble FC recently, even a little bit on Behind the Ramble. In fact, that gives me an opportunity for a cheeky little plug. If anybody is interested, it is the return of the taxi videos on Behind the Ramble. If you're not already and you're interested in that sort of thing, do go over there and show us a bit of love. Again, if it's something that you're interested in, it's just a little bit of what I get up to outside the Blades Ramble. So, but on both channels, we've been doing content about the Steel City Derby coming up. And in fact, tomorrow, I believe at 8 o'clock, the lads are going to be doing a football rivalry special. So you look at some of the huge rivalries there, like Leeds and Harrogate. Huge fixtures. But in all seriousness, I think it's a good discussion, and it's pertinent to Sheffield United and Sheffield Wednesday with the fixture around the corner. I've also done a Steel City Showdown with James Mappin from the Wednesday Till I Die pod. Great podcast, terrible club, but great podcast and a great fella. If you want to go over and give that a watch, that's on Ramble FC from last night, I think it was. Might be the night before. But it's sort of, it shifted all my focus towards the Derby game. And I'm a little bit more positive than I was. I started off really nervous about it. And I'm a nervous fan anyway, it has to be said. I try and be as positive as I can be, and I try and be upbeat and stay upbeat about things. And that's not a front at all. That's just the way I consciously try and have my mindset. But particularly with games like this, there's no getting round what's at stake and what is up for grabs here in terms of bragging rights. And I think that's the huge thing, certainly at this point in time for both sides. From a Sheffield Wednesday perspective, it's almost nailed on that they get relegated this season. James was saying the other night on Ramble FC that they'd have to show top 2 form just to try and get to 50 points, which is usually the benchmark. And, you know, the squad that they've got, it's widely acknowledged that it's one of the poorest squads in the league. I think it's the poorest squad in the league. You know, the first 11's okay, but I think it's one of the poorest squads in the league. So, yeah, really interesting to have those different perspectives on it. I am now, I don't know whether it's just the time leading up to it, the sort of nerves have settled a little bit. I'm really looking forward to this game now. And don't get me wrong, by the time it comes around to Kickoff, which we will be here for, by the way, we will be doing a watch along from Sunday, from 11 o'clock on Sunday morning. If you want to join us, you're more than welcome. here we go with the big one. So, yes, and as I say, that Steel City Showdown was with James. I can't remember whether it were recently or not, but a load of plugs I've just thrown out there. But it were more a case of setting the scene for you, really, as to how I'm feeling. 'Cause it has gone in waves, and I tend to do that. And as I say, come kick off on Sunday, I'll be nervous. But it's one of them games, isn't it? It's just one of them games that it certainly gets the blood pumping. A Sheffield Wednesday, their season rides on this game. They're guaranteed to get relegated pretty much, as I said. That was the point I was going to be making. And if a result here at least gives their fans a little bit of glory for the season, and it sort of signals the fact that it's the end of a terrible era for their football club. Contrastly, we are here to spoil the party. We have been playing poorly all season, it's probably fair to say. Certainly below our expected standards. I don't think that's an arrogant thing to say. I think that's based on fact in terms of what we've seen across the last few years. And I think we go there scratching around, looking for a best 11. I'm going to talk to you today about the 11 that I would play. I'm going to talk to you about the 11 that I think Chris will play. I want to know what you would play in terms of a side, how you would set up against this Sheffield Wednesday side. I would also be remiss to mention, before we get into the show properly, we've just had, I've just been watching Chris Wilder and Henrik Pedersen on Radio Sheffield, Football Heaven. They were live in the studio, and I thought it were a brilliant episode of Football Heaven. I'm a huge fan of the Radio Sheffield boys, as you know. I'm a big follower of what they do. I'll actually be on Radio Sheffield on Friday morning, but they're leading into the game, obviously. But they've had Chris Wilder and Henrik Pedersen on tonight, who I have to say were very respectful of each other, which was nice. He has similar, he being Chris Wilder, has similar sentiments to a lot of us Blades in terms of, look, we've never cheered you kept saying, I said that 2 or 3 times, never cheered a Sheffield Wednesday victory, but for them to not be paid, for the players and the staff who've been there years and years not to be paid, it's just not the way to run a football club. So it's been the same vibe that we've been giving out, and I know a lot of Sheffield United fans have as well. We don't feel sorry for them per se, but you don't want that to happen to anybody. You know, it's not just because it's them, it's because it's not right. So there were that. There were also the news coming out of this, which a lot of people will jump on, that he says we've got Gus available for selection, and we've also got Chong available for selection. He was asked about, or he mentioned Blaster as well, but he was going to be touch and go, which to me says it'll be touch and no for Aliar Blaster, because it should be. If he's a doubt in any which way, you can't chuck him into the most aggressive game of the season. It's just nonsensical. He got injured in that fixture, in the first fixture last season. So I think Gus will play a part. I think Chong will be in the squad. Won't surprise me to see either of them come off the bench. It would surprise me to see either of them start. So let's have a look. Do we get into our... Yeah, we can get into... So that first of all, we'll look at the previous 11 that we put out against QPR. So this is how we set up. It was Michael Cooper in goal. It was a back 4 of Femi Sariki, Japhet Tanganga, Ben Mee, and Sam McCallum. Now, I think, all things considered, at the moment, that would be our first team back line at the moment. I think that's the one that's been, Femi's played well in the couple of games that he's come in. Tanganga's more comfortable in the middle. There's also the X factor of Ben Mee leaving in a boot. He left the game in a boot. Now, that may have been precautionary, but in the team selections that I've done, I've erred on the side of caution and just assumed that Ben Mee is unavailable. So we'll progress with that as if Ben Mee's not going to play a part. But it may be interesting. I believe the press is on Friday afternoon, so it may be interesting to hear from Chrissy Wilder about whether Ben Mee is also back and in contention. Not that we'll believe what he tells us, because why would he? It were Peck and Gyro in the middle. In the centre of midfield, Callum O'Hare was out on the left. Andre Brooks was out on the right. And it was a front 2. Danny Ings a little bit deeper than Tyrese Campbell. So there were a few interesting things that he said again in this Football 11 interview tonight, where Tyrese Campbell's had a rocket. I don't know whether he meant by Bamford coming in. It's my understanding that he's had a rocket anyway. There's been some frank conversations about getting Tyrese Campbell needing to get back up to his best, because we can't rely on the current form that he's showing. It's not been good enough. And I think it's refreshing to hear that and know that those conversations are happening behind the scenes. It's obviously not great that they're having to have those conversations, but the fact that they are fronting up, first of all, that Wilder's noticing, which we knew he would do anyway, but there is actually tackling it rather than ducking. And again, not that we thought he would, but like, I lose my faith in stuff like sticking with Jack Robinson despite performances, and I don't want to go down that rabbit hole again. But when I thought Jack Robinson should have come out of the team, he was getting played game after game after game, and it didn't look like his performances were ever being challenged. To know that Tyrese Campbell is not playing well, and his performances are being challenged because of that, I think is a real positive, because we know what a player Tyrese Campbell can be, and we want that Tyrese Campbell back for Sheffield United. And if bringing Patrick Bamford in to put some serious pressure on his place, then it is necessary, then great. And Pat Bamford is fit and ready to go, says Wilder, having played 45 minutes for 21s, looks sharp, has been playing well in training. He said he were available for 37 games of Leeds' season last year, despite the injury claims. So it was just he couldn't get a sniff because of how well their forward line was playing. And we all know how good Leeds' forward line was last year, because we talked about it to death, didn't we, on the channel. So this was the side that set up last time. How many changes do you think? Well, I think there might be one or two. As I say, I'm erring on the side of caution with Ben Mee, and I think Chris Wilder will go with the same formation, but I think he'll this time put Mark McGuinness in. Now, it's a toss of a coin for me in terms of whether Gyro stays in or Jibril Samari comes into the side. But other than that, I think there'll be very few changes. So I think Mark McGuinness replaces Ben Mee. So it's in goal. It's Michael Cooper, not the old Hartlepool manager, Mark Cooper. It's Michael Cooper, Femi Siriki right back, Sam McCallum left back, Mark McGuinness on the right side of defence, and Japhet Tanganga slightly out of his comfort zone on the left-hand side of the central defence, which I'm not overly happy about, but beggars and choosers. In the middle, I think it'll be Peck and Samari and or Gyro. As I say, it were a flip of a coin with that, really. But I think he does want Samari to still be involved in and around the first team. It's also been noted today on a few different forums. I've not seen it on just one, but I've seen it on more than one, that Samari his loan deal may not be able to be terminated. And it's one of them. Out of the loan signings, he's been one of the least damaging, I think is probably the best way to put it. Aware out on the left again, Brooks on the right. And I think he'll go again with Danny Ings and Tyrese Campbell up front. That's just a guess on what I think the formation will be under Chris Wilder. We've got a few right, actually, this season. Bang on the money, which is very surprising because he's been quite unpredictable at times. I would go slightly different to this because I don't think Callum O'Hare is a left winger. I know he's not a left winger. I certainly don't think Gus starts the game. It wouldn't surprise me if we finish the game as a 4-2-3-1 with Gus on the pitch on the left-hand side, Callum O'Hare back in the 10. But I think this is sort of, again, a little bit square peggy, round holey with O'Hare out on the left. I would like to see this as a lineup. And again, I'm up for being shot at here. But this is the way I would go with it. I'd play Michael Cooper in goal. I'd still have the same back four, but I want Tanganga on the right-hand side. That might leave McGuinness quite vulnerable playing on the left, but I still think you play your best defender in his best position. And I think that will... They've got one... They usually play with one up front, which we'll come to in a minute. And I think all you need is Japhet Tanganga along that back line where he's comfortable. And I think we'll be more or less covered. I think McGuinness can give us defensive assurance at set plays. I think he can hopefully give us an attacking threat at set plays. He's there, obviously, to cut out open play attacks as well. But I think as long as Tanganga is comfortable in his position, then I think we'll be okay. Excuse me. this side is probably slightly harsh on Andre Brooks, but this is at a push. He is the only natural winger we've got in this side now that Ogbenny is injured. And Ogbenny's gone out with what we believe is a hamstring injury, which is very unfortunate. I've seen different comments flying around that, what I will say is, I know people wanted him out of the side. I did too. Nobody ever wants to see your own players injured. And I don't for 1 minute think anybody is celebrating the fact that it's an injury. I don't for 1 minute believe that. But it's unfortunate for the lad. He's obviously a very, very nice bloke. We've heard from him in interviews and stuff like that. And we know, knowing a little bit of his backstory, he's a very likeable fella. He's just not done it on the pitch for us, unfortunately. I'm sure he will want to rectify that, but at the moment, it's just not happening for him. And it's been disappointing, I think it has to be said. So I'm going with a central three of Sidney Peck on the right, the left-footed Jibril Samari on the left, both with a bit of a licence to go when the other one is sitting, and Gyro sitting predominantly most of the time. So if Peck gets the ball and he wants to, have a little bit of integral play with Callum O'Hare in the 10, then he can go forward a little bit. Samari and Riedveld drop in and secure and make sure there's no immediate breaks from that speed demon Barry Bannon. And likewise on the other side, if Jibril Samari ventures forward, then Sidney Peck can drop in alongside Riedveld and sort of protect the back four there. Obviously, Femi and McCallum like to get forward as well, so we just get that extra little bit of protection in front of the defence. Callum O'Hare in his natural preferred position of the 10, where he's played favourably, in my opinion, all season. And I still think our best front two, until we see anything out of Patrick Bamford, best front two is Danny Ings and Tyrese Campbell. Tyrese Campbell have been very disappointing this, as have been a lot of players, by the way. It's not just Tyrese Campbell that's been disappointing. He's obviously held himself to a high standard last season, or set himself a high bar last season, which again we've spoken about. He might struggle with this year, and it's come to pass. But there is a player in there, and if he gets off and he scored in this fixture last season. So yeah, we've certainly not given up on Tyrese Campbell, and maybe the extra pressure of Pat Bamford coming in behind him will give him a kick that he needs. So that is my team that I'm going with, just due to the lack of wide players. I think I wanted to originally, because I like the 3-4-1-2, and I think our squad sets up for that quite nicely. But chucking somebody like a Tyler Binden in as a third defender in the back three, we don't know Ben Godfrey's status. Who else is going to come in along the back line if Ben Mee's injured to have that solid three? And I'm not entirely sure we've got that at the moment. So I'm going with the four at the back. And this is the team that I'm selecting. So what are we coming up against? At Hillsborough on Sunday against the Pigs. We're coming up against the side that's lost 3 of the last 5, drawn 2 of the last 3. The 24th in the league. Their manager is Henrik Pedersen. I've said the key man, and I think he's probably about right. I think we can all acknowledge that Barry Bannon makes them tick. When he plays well, they tend to play well. They've only got a chance of winning, really, any game. I don't just mean this fixture. If Barry Bannon turns up and does the business, they are a much weaker side without him in there. And we don't like him, but as you have to admire what he's done for them, I think, from afar, really. So they tend to play a 3-4-2-1. So they play 2 10s behind the 1 striker, something that we've discussed when Gus Hamer's back in available. Could him and Callum O'Hare coexist as a 2 behind a Tyrese Campbell or a Patrick Bamford now, or even a Danny Ings? Could that be something that we look at as a formation? Potentially, I think we've got the players to do that. But there's, again, speaking to James on Steel City Showdown, Bailey Cadamartri has been starting for them at the top of the pitch as their sole striker, but he's away on international duty for Jamaica, and when he's previously played in international weeks, he doesn't play that week for Sheffield Wednesday. So if Pedersen decides to rest him, then it will be between Jamal Lowe and I don't know his first name, Ugbo for them, who was their record signing, but has been their Tom Cannon, if you like. It's just been a big money signing that did not work for him. I don't think he's scored in 2 years or something like that, I was saying. So this is what we're up against. I think I like us playing 2 up front against their 3. I don't mind that at all. I think we can go with my narrower formation because they've only got the 2 wide men. Harry Amass might be somebody we need to look out for, but Femi Siriki has got the pace to cope with him, even if we're not as, confident all the time defensively with him. So I'm not... We've got more than enough to beat this side. Who did they play last time? How did they line up last time? They had Horvath in goal. This was to face Southampton. Now, I think this is a back 3 of Palmer, Iorfa and Lowe. That's their back 3. So Lowe is their left centre-back, Max Lowe, that we know all about, obviously. Harry Amass is the left wing-back. Fusiri, however you pronounce his name, he's the right wing-back. In the middle, it's Bannon, Valerie. Bannon, Valerie. It's not Ingleson. Ingleson and Cadamartri. Oh, yeah. Apologies. Yeah, of course. Because across the 4, it's Fusiri, Bannon, Valerie, and Amass. The 2 behind Cadamartri up top is Ingleson and McNeil in this game. So their 11's okay. Their 11 is okay. They've got nothing underneath it, really. So, yeah, that's what we're potentially up against. I think, to be honest, let's have a look at the champ table as well. This is where we both are, and it's a sad state of affairs for Sheffield, isn't it? So we are 22nd, played 15, only got 10 points, but they are 24th, played 15, got -4 points. And that's because they've been docked, obviously. They would have 12. They've been docked 12 points. They would have 8 on the board. Still, really poor return for both Sheffield clubs. So yeah, let's have a little look now about what you're saying before we go into the score predictions. Nick says, "Evening, Jim. Do you know where to go for the pre-entry in Hillsborough vaccine? I'm back in Wilder to continue his good form at the Stye, and I'm going 2-1 to the Blades. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the Man Mountain." Nice one. I love that he's got his own little fan base. Giles, he says, "Hi, Jimmy. I've caught alive. Hope all is well. I'm quietly on this one. 2-0. We'll be fine. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up behind the Ramble. Thank you, mate. I'm hoping me and Tanganga can be central again with Siriki on the right and McCallum on the left. Ideally, that's the case. As I say, with my team selection and the one that I think Wilder will play, we've assumed that me might be injured, but let's hope not. Let's hope not." John says, "To be the 2,300 Blades going to the Stye, sing loud and proud. The rest of us will be with you in spirit via SUTV, ITV, DAZN, or Jim's Watch Along." Yes, let's get that up while we're talking about it. Where's that gone? There we go. There we go. Sunday morning rambles calling. Nice. Up the worldwide Ramblers. Absolutely right. Matthew says, "Evening, Jimmy. After listening to Wilder and knowing Hamer is back, I'm feeling very confident now. No idea why. I think we'll smash them 2-0, 3-1, up the Blades, up the Ramble." Matt's team is Cooper. It's a 4-2-3-1. So it's Cooper in goal. The back 4, Siriki, Tanganga, me, McCallum. Brooks and Peck as the 2. Oh, no. Davis, Hamer, O'Hare, Campbell. All right, so I assume Davis and Peck are your 2. Brooks and Hamer are your wide men. O'Hare in the 10 and Campbell up top. So he's starting Gus Hamer after about 6 weeks out. Interesting. Or 4 weeks out, however long he's been gone. With Big Pat, Ings and co to come off the bench. Yeah, I think we'll see Pat Bamford at the weekend off the bench. Louis says, "Evening, pal. Growing a little in confidence as we get closer." Me too. Me too, mate. Hope you're good. I think the international break might have been good for us. A further chance to work on fitness and cohesion. If we approach the game with a focus and calmness, we'll have enough to win there. But we can't take them lightly. We all know this occasion is a leveller. The team I expect is a 4-4-2. Cooper, Siriki, Tanganga, me, McCallum, Brooks, Peck, Riedveld, O'Hare, Ings and Campbell. I think that's an unchanged lineup, isn't it? That's an unchanged lineup from... I'll have to knock the watch along one off. And let's go to the previous Blades 11. Cooper, Siriki, Tanganga, me, McCallum, Brooks, yeah, it is. Brooks, Peck, Riedveld, O'Hare, Ings and Campbell. Yeah, so you think it'll be unchanged, Lou? Right, okay. Interesting, mate. Get the ad for the watch along back up for those that aren't aware. John says, Jimmy, here's my team for Sunday. 4-1-2-1-2. Cooper, Sariki, Tanganga, me and McCallum is your back four. So that is the solid back four. As I said before I read any of these comments, I think that back line is starting to pick itself when they're all fit, obviously. The teams that I've put out have got McGuinness in as a replacement for me, but if me's available, he starts. It's interesting that a lot of Blades are settling on that as a back four now. Gyro and Peck, yeah, like that as a combo. Davis, Tom Davis, I think he's injured, if I'm honest. I might be wrong. So he wants Gyro as the one, Peck and Davis as the two, Callum Ware as the other one, and Brooks and as the other two. And is it Ings up front? Okay. I don't know who your two are up top because you've got Brooks and Ings, but fair dues, John. That's up to you, pal. Big T says, can't wait for 2 p.m. on Sunday when it's all over. I hate this game. If someone says you never have to play them again and both teams get a point, I'd take that all day. You're going out, you Big T. Are you doing Ramble on Road? You have to let us know. We might get a few doing Ramble on Road for this one if that's what the boys and girls would like to do for it. Then we'll see. Could make it like a long form one as a one-off. And then if the result don't go our way, we'll just make it a short. Paul Copblade says, hi Jimmy, pal. We go again and win the Owls. In Tufty we trust. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I hope you're right, pal. Gaz, the man in black, says, must win in my opinion. I think we can win it too. Same formation as last game. Get rid of the mistakes, and this is ours for the taking for sure. No match for me on Sunday, so looking forward to the watch along. Top boy. We'll see you there, mate. Ray says, evening all. This could be the game that decides our season. Win and we could go on a fantastic run full of confidence. I agree, Ray. It's a bit of a fork in the road moment, isn't it? Certainly for Sheffield United. I don't think it changes Wednesday's direction of their season. It certainly could for us. Good evening, people, says Bri. Welcome to the Ramble. As ever, please keep the chat to the family level and no all caps messages. It's rude to shout. Enjoy all. Thank you, Bri. Appreciate you, mate. Play 2 up top, 4-4-2. Again, with Paddy and Ty leading the line, says Paul. I don't think Paddy will start. Paul, I might be wrong. It would. Stranger things have happened in this Sheffield United side than Patrick Bamford starting or Gus starting after a layoff. Could happen. Tom says, hey up, Jim Bob. Listening to the BBC Radio Sheffield special, still more confident than I was before. Still no more confident than I was beforehand. I don't think it wasn't particularly newsworthy, was it? But I still really enjoyed it. And I'm up for the game now. I'm up for the game. It's got me in the mood, and I've already been sort of turning towards the game and looking forward to it now. So, Mark Meldrew, this is a leveler. This game gives me nerves like no other. Roll on 2 p.m. on Sunday. Hopefully 3 points for the Blades. What will be, will be. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, up the -2, up the 5 positive Blades. Alex says, hi Jimmy, nervous for this one, but under Wilder, even this Blades team will be up for it. We'll still take a boring 0-0 and get it out of the way. Yeah, me too. I loved as well, just going back to the Radio Sheffield thing, how Wilder continues to call out the underperformance of some of the players this season. And he's right to do that, in my opinion. That, you know, that some of the players haven't been playing to the levels we expect. He's constantly calling for more from them because we know there's more to come from them. Cole says, as a Cov fan, you guys will be fine. You'll go on a good run, won't be far off the top 6. Cole, you'll do for me, pal. I wish I had your confidence in us, but it's always nice to hear an unbiased opinion either way, because obviously if you're a Wednesday fan, you'd have a different opinion as well. But always nice to hear a third-party opinion, if you like. And it's always welcome here, mate. Thank you for that. But lose... Oh, Ray, I thought we were just going to leave on the up. But lose and it will damage our confidence even further. We could spiral out of control and we could get relegated with our chins on the floor. Oh, Raymondo, what are you doing to me? Dan says, evening, finally caught alive. I have faith that we can do this and do the double on them lot. My family will be divided as my wife and 2 daughters are Wendy's and me and 1 daughter and 1 son are Blades. Well, you've brought up one of your daughters and your son the right way. And I hope that you have the bragging rights come 2 o'clock on Sunday, pal. But yeah, again, loads of this throughout Sheffield, throughout the country, I'm sure. And wherever you are as a Blade, there'll be split loyalties. We've got no Owls in our family, but I know a lot of people do. And there's more important things than football, isn't there? But this is a huge banter card to play this weekend. And will it be brilliant or insufferable? There's huge stakes in a lot of families up for grabs this weekend. Alex says, Hamer, Chong and Blaster back for the derby. He's having us on, isn't he? I don't think Blaster will be back. I'll be amazed. Hamer and Chong, we could see an appearance from the bench. My predictions 2-1 United, says Donnarumma. Very nice of him to join us, taking time out of his busy schedule. Having a good season. Been a good signing. Up the Ramble, up the positive Blades. Nice one, Danny boy. Ray says, hope it doesn't happen. We trust Chris to get the win, and in my opinion, a big win. Up the Ramble, up all the Rambles, like and subscribe. Paul the Cop Blade says, 1-0 Blades, Bamford winner. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. Interesting. Jamie Dumpling. Evening, Jimmy. Bricking this game for personal reasons, as you and a few will be aware. But if we win, I'm on cloud 9, and 90 after 90 will be something special. Thank you, my mate. Yep, we will come rain or shine, mate. We'll be here, won't we? We always are. Bryce says, I think James didn't read the comments. Jim, was because there was more of us than them, I think. I think James didn't. Bryce, lost me, mate. If you're talking about a comment that's gone more than 5 comments away, my apologies, because you know, like they sometimes drop off on the thing. They drop off my head as well. So I can't. My memory is absolutely shot. I'm over 40 now. What can I say? Dave Morwood with an incredibly generous super chat. Thank you, my friend. Evening, Jimmy. Not long now. We got this, no doubt. Up all the Rambles, up the Blades, up the 5 positive Blades. Like and subscribe. Thumbs. Make sure you like it, please. Thank you, Dave Morwood. What a legend. Mr. Morwood, thanks for the support for the channel, says Bry. Paul says, evening, Jimmy. Have to say, I stand in the Man Mountain camp. Que sera, sera, but we'll always survive. Deep breath and keep the faith. As you know, it's always the hope that kills you. We are Blades. For those that don't, absolutely right, Paul, by the way, I love that. For those that don't understand the Man Mountain camp reference, 3MB this week. We've got 3 Mardy Blades every Sunday, although I think it'll be 2MB this Sunday because Man Mountain is going to Hillsborough. And we've all seen what he's like when he's had a sniff of a shandy. He's an absolute disgrace. So I think it'll be me and Dave the Nose flying the flag for the 3 Mardy Blades on Sunday. But in this week's the previous episode of 3 Mardy Blades, Man Mountain was on at me and Dave the Nose. Why are you so negative? Why are you worried about this fixture? Why aren't you looking forward to it? Why? This is what we all live for. This is what it's about. And fair play to him. I wish I could have more of that thought process. But Paul Burberry agrees with Paul the Man Mountain. And I'm sure a lot of you do as well, which is great. Will Blades will hammer the Owls, says Paul. You'll fill up my senses. Deb says, hi, Jimmy. What time are you on Radio Sheffield on Friday? Up the Blades, up all the Rambles. Like and subscribe, share and hype to the best Blades channel. Thank you, Debs. They've just asked me to be in for 7 in the morning. And can I stay for majority at morning? I don't know what the plans are. I don't know what's going on. Just can I come in and, you know, take part in whatever it is they are doing relating to the derby game. So, of course I will. Top man Davey says, Lou, Blades men from the lane. Rice says, evening, Jim. Hope you're well. I am, thank you, mate. Hope you are too. Bamford will work out. I have a feeling. Up the Blades. I hope you're right, mate. I hope you're right. Paul is spamming the chat and has been asked to breathe. So I hope you're well, mate. Brand says, evening, Jim. Will be absolutely unforgivable if we lose to this lot. Losing simply isn't an option. The atmosphere at home the week after will be toxic if so. I don't think they beat us. I don't think they beat us. I'm saying it. I've said it. It's clippable. I am more confident now than I have been all week. If you think now, look, we haven't played well this season. And I'm not a big one on look at the players we've got compared to them, because particularly in a derby game, it all goes out the window anyway. But if you look at the game changers that we've got, Callum O'Hare, Gus Amer that can come back in, players like Chong and Tyrese Campbell can be game changers on the day as well. I'm not really. They've got Barry Bannon, who does a great. I know we joke about him. The fact that he's 56 and still playing at centre midfield for them, but he's done a great job for them down the years. There's not much else beneath that for them. And yes, it's at home. Yes, it's the atmosphere. And I'll come on to my score prediction in a minute because I think that will tell its own tale, probably. Happy belated birthday, Lewis, says Paul Burberry. It is also Paul the Man Mountain's birthday tomorrow, for anybody that wants to know. We're not streaming tomorrow. I'm not streaming. But they will be here on Ramble FC, apologies, for a bit of football therapy. So if anybody wants to join that stream on Ramble FC and support us over on our sister channel and spam the chat with Happy Birthday Man Mountain and let him know why all the housewives love him, then that would be great. Thank you. So yeah, it's his big 5-0, I believe, on Thursday. So happy birthday to the Man Mountain. You don't look a day over 49. Paul says, coffee for Brian and Jimmy, done latte for you. Top lads, I'm having a usual cappuccino. Up the Ramble, up the Blades. We Mighty Blades will win the Owls, no probs. Freddie says, is Cooper injured? Don't believe so, mate. Don't believe so. He played the last game and got through it fine. And even if he's 80%, then he'll be playing anyway. Let's have a look. Bryce says, only worry for me is that they've no to lose. It's that they have that us against the world mentality. If we win, they'll say it was to be expected. Yeah, they can say it's to be expected all they like. Just beat them. Just beat them and get it done. Move on to the next 3 points banked onto Portsmouth. That's what I'll be saying. Stick says, always remember Top Flight Derby, November 91. They spent loads, had a right squad, and we were challenging top of the table. And we're challenging top of the table. We were arguably poorest wealth-wise in the league, but the fight and mentality turned them over. I want to see that spirit again. Absolutely right. That's all we call for, isn't it? All we call for. Giving it everything you can for shirt. Scott says, evening, Jimbo. Ings is a must start up top after how he played last game. Play 2 up top again, 2. I think either way, this one won't be a classic. Scruffy 1-0 win will do me. Up the Blades of Paul the Rambles. Yes, me too, mate. And you've just reminded me, I need to reply to your second message that you sent me, don't I? Because I know I replied to the first one. I need to reply to your second one. Best of luck with that as well. SLB says, Piggies will be well up for this one, even if it's just to try and pull us into a relegation scrap with them, hoping for a strong defensive performance and can hopefully nick it in the second half. Hope so, mate. Bald and brilliant, that's our Lee. He says he'd go with Cooper, semi-freaky, Tanganga, me, and Sam McCallum as the back 4, same as the majority. Riedveld and Peck, Samari and Brooks. Don't know, you're having... All right, 4-1-3-1-1. All right, so Riedveld is your protector in front of the back 4. Then you've got a 3 of Peck, Samari and Brooks. Then Callum Ware in front of them. And then Campbell in a starting formation of a narrow 4-1-3-1-1. Is anyone shocked Tom Davis is injured? Nope. No, we're not, unfortunately. Big T says, yes, I'm there, pal. And yes, I'm on Ramble on the Road. God knows how this one will come out. We've seen how OTT I get. Mate, you are a cult hero in the Ramble on the Road crowd. You are very well appreciated, as you know, hopefully. Raymond, keep the faith, says Paul. Love that. Love that. Paul says, United need to get rid of all the sick notes and loans that are costing us money and hope while they can replace them. Costing us money and hope while they can replace them with some quality. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. I agree, Paul, but I think that's a job for down the road. I think if we bank on January now, there's 8 or 9 games to go till then. We have to concentrate on what's in front of us. You're completely right, and I've done a plan for Jan myself where it talks about a big turnover of players that is still there to watch again, if anybody wants to go back and have a watch of that. But, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I just think all focus is on Sunday, isn't it? Ian says, good evening. I just hope they've got a few 50p's to chuck in the meter for the undersoil heating if it's frosty. Scott says, agree. They'll be up for this and the rust bucket will be full. But don't believe the tripe. A few of them lot have been spouting. There's no pressure on them. It's the derby. Of course there's pressure. Bryce says, the Steel City Showdown. When we went to his channel, he didn't read any comments. I know. Come on, boss. Get with it. Lee says, positivity is growing as we approach the weekend. I agree, mate. I agree. I feel like this too. It feels like, you know, when there's an automatic feeling around something, and it's in this case, it's been the fixture where you all get the vibe that Sheffield Wednesday are in a no-lose situation here. I don't mean literally, obviously, because they can lose the game, but it's expected that they lose. And I think it's been tapped into, certainly by Blades, that is the mentality around the game. As we get closer and that narrative has sunk a little bit, it almost feels like it's dissipating. That, well, actually, some people are thinking Sheffield Wednesday might do all right in this game. And, we have to remember that Sheffield United have a lot of good players in their side. I'm more confident the closer we get to the fixture. Scott says, I'm with the Mountain too. Got to enjoy these games. What a rivalry's all about. My best mate is a pig, and I think we're off to the pub to watch. Hopefully the Blades will ruin his and many others' day. Yes, me too. Danny, who's been a member for 5 months. Thank you, mate. Up the Blades, up the Ramble, like and subscribe. Lee says, I'm still not having the Bamford signing, but will gladly eat my words if he scores at the weekend. Like and subscribe to the best Blades-related content on YouTube. Thank you, my mate. Hope you're good. See more of Bald and Brilliant Lee tomorrow night, and I will put it up again. There we go. Who's got the best football rivalry in the country? I think a lot of us would nail one of the top ones there, but it's up for everybody to have their say. Jimmy, good luck tomorrow at the awards. Thank you, John. That is the reason I'm not taking part in football therapy tomorrow. It is the FCA's tomorrow night, Football Content Awards. So I'm taking Mrs. Ramble for the evening. We've been shortlisted for 3 awards. Thank you to everybody that's voted. I think it's one of them where you expect nothing, and if you get something, it's an absolute bonus. But just being nominated is a hugely rewarding thing to be. So thank you to everyone that's put us forward for it, and to the awards for recognising what we try and do with the channel, and certainly the community that we try and build. But thank you, John. That's a really kind thing to say. And I'll possibly do a little bit of filming for Behind the Ramble on there if you want to go and support us on Behind the Ramble. There you go. I'm full of plugs tonight. Full of plugs. Like Wayne Rooney's forehead. Eamon says, happy birthday, Man Mountain, for tomorrow up the Blades. Nice one, Eamon. Steel City title race, 26-27. What, in League One? Possibly. What, no Bisto Brett tonight? He might... Bisto. He might be working, Mike Brett. I haven't spoken to him for a day or two, which is rare. But yeah, no Bisto Brett tonight. Bisto. Gage says Bogle's been injury-free since going to Leeds. Maybe it's a staff issue, all these injuries. Very possible. Very possible. Maybe it's the training methods, or, what we're doing in terms of helping their recovery. You can't... It would be very irresponsible to cast aspersions on individuals, but it's certainly a talking point, Gage, as to why and how players aren't staying fit or recovering appropriately for Sheffield United when they do for other clubs. It's the Bamford vibe, Jim, says Paul. Bam Bam scores. Bam Bam Bigelow. Bam Bam front Flintstones. Bam Bam. Action Location says forecast Blades 3-0. Up the Blades, up the Ramble. Like and subscribe. Keep up the good work. Jimmy, thank you, Action Location. Hope you're good, pal. Races, I'm getting there now. Getting confident we'll smash him. Come on, you red and white wizards. And Brand says, have Attendance FC sold out yet? Ask him for a mate. Not last I saw, Bran, but it's one of them. They'll start getting away soon, won't they? So, before we wrap up, I'm going to give you my score prediction. And a little bit of why as well, if I can find where I've put it. Because I've got that many plugs that I've put up that we can't see it, can we? Here we go. So, I think we beat them 2-1. I think we beat them 2-1. I think they... I think they'll try and come at us because they're at home. I think they have to come at us in the first 10 minutes or so because of the crowd. And again, this is something we discussed with James on Steel City Showdown on Ramble FC. But I think it plays into our hands. We struggle to break teams down and create chances when teams are in a low block. I don't think at home that is acceptable for Sheffield Wednesday. I think they have to come at us. I think this will be their one shot at glory this season, and I think it could be their undoing, if I'm honest. I might be wrong. I might be selling Pedersen short. He might have us sussed out and have a game plan, but I'm not convinced. And we have certainly got the better players. It's whether they turn up on the night, isn't it, for me? So can we just have a little bit of appreciation for this special badge that Tom Barnsley's designed for us as well? I know we've used it before, but we'll continue to use it on the channel because it's absolutely brilliant. So thank you to Tom Barnsley, a very talented man. Paul says, add all my votes, Jim. Break a leg for the awards. You deserve a big win. Thank you, my mate. That's very kind of you. Keep the faith and keep it ramble, people, says Bri. Right, so thank you to everyone for joining us tonight. When are we back? Well, we are back, as I've said, on Ramble FC. The next live show you'll see from the Ramble Anywhere is on Football Therapy tomorrow night with the boys. It's Lee, Man Mountain, and Jord Motson. Bald and brilliantly, that is. There is also a taxi blog out on Behind the Ramble if anybody wants to go and watch that. That would be much appreciated. We are back now with a weekly series doing the taxi things because I did some yesterday as well. It's going well. I'm well back into the swing of that. But the next time you'll see me will be hot off the presser. That will be Friday afternoon. Friday afternoon. I believe the press conference is at 1:30. So Adam Oxley tells me. I hope he's right because he told me the wrong time last time. Ox, there you go, pal. But yes, that is when we believe the press conference will be at 1:30, which means hot off the presser will be around 2 o'clock. Around 2 o'clock. It's obviously just when he finishes. We'll be straight on for there. And then obviously the next time you see me after that will be the huge, huge game itself. The watch along. Which is Sunday morning Ramble's calling. That is not the last time you'll hear me say that. But there you go. Let's just get the last couple of questions, couple of comments saying, think you are forgetting how bad we are, says PJ. I'm not. But they're worse. They're worse. I think you're forgetting how bad they are. And look, if there's ever a time to turn your season around, PJ, it's now. PJ. 1-0, says Paul. And it's a pig, the Wednesday logo, says Elaine. Yes, it is. The very talented Tom, not from Barnsley, who's just done a Meet the Plats for us as well. So any Platinum Ramblers will get to know Tom a little bit more. So thank you to everybody that's joined us tonight. I'm back in the mood. I'm ready for this game now. I'm no longer nervous about it. I'm just excited for it. I hope you are too. We'll see you all very soon back on the Ramble. But for now, come on, you red and white wizards. On the blades!